All right, if you're working on a 47 to 54 Chevy pickup, panel or Suburban truck, we're going to kind of show you a little bit an easier way probably to measure and to cut the inner fenders. This being the driver's side, we're going to start this off being the face, the front of the inner fender panel, and this being the inner face. So when we refer to it, you'll know which side we're talking about. On the very front of it, you're going to find there's 3 holes that actually go down and bolt to your balance panel. From the inside hole, you want to move to the middle hole. On your middle hole, find center and mark this and measure over 2 inches. By doing this, this is going to be your first area you're going to start marking so you can be able to cut it. If you mark from the bottom and measure from here, from the bottom, moving up, that's going to be an additional 2 inches again. Then you can follow this around, all the way around to the face. This is the 2 holes that actually are bolted into your inner panel that goes to the radiator support. Right past this area, you're going to see this, and we've drawn now kind of an arc in this. This is more of a fill area than anything else. We tell you to go ahead and do an arc. Give yourself plenty of room for your power steering pump hoses. And then you're going to start leveling it back off into a straight line all the way back to the factory cutout. This factory cutout you're seeing here is actually where the power, or not power, but your manual box is on your pickup. So, after you've moved around to the inner face of this, and you got past the 2 5/16 holes for the radiator support, this arc, you can determine how high you really want to go. We a lot of times will end up doing like a 4 3/4, measuring from the bottom to the highest point of this arc, and then kind of just drawing it around. This straight line that you're seeing, measuring from the bottom as high as you need to be into the front, that's going to be 3 3/4, and it's going to kind of taper backwards. And by doing that, you're going to lose an inch, and it's going to be a 2 3/4. And the reason that is because of the way the front end sets on the frame. Continue this line through the released area into the opening of the manual box. This actually just take like 3/16 drill bit, use it as your pilot. And then a lot of times you'll see us, we use what we call the step bits or a unibit, depending where you know, some guys will call them in different directions or different wording. What you want to do there is we can take that down to the 1/2 inch in diameter. When you're measuring this here, don't remember, you can go from the corner and you can measure down, or I kind of eyeball that. Don't measure it down a 1/2 inch, because then it's going to just make the hole too large. What I always like to do is find your center of your arc in your corner, move it down roughly about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, and then be able to use the unibit to give yourself more of a perfect hole in the corner. Jesus. After you get done drilling your hole, a lot of times like you'll see, by using the unibit and doing this hole, all you need to do is make a straight cut up, and then you start your cut over. All right, when you're cutting, first thing you want to do is make sure that you're protecting yourself. Always wear safety glasses and wear some kind of a hand protection. Now what we're going to be using this is just a standard DeWalt cutoff wheel on a grinder, nothing fancy. What I'm going to start doing here is I'm going to go from the bottom cut first up to my hole, and then I'm going to start laying the cut across the face of it. cut out what we can right now by rough cutting it with the cutoff wheel. Now this arch and stuff that you're seeing that we were talking about, you're gonna have to go back in there and use some tin snips. Left and right-handed tin snips, the greens and reds. So we'll go ahead and do that and finish it up for you. Okay, so we went ahead and we did all our cutting. We kind of roughed it all in. Next step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put it into the vehicle, test it, make sure you got enough clearance here for your upper control arm. These measurements are actually going to be probably a little bit on the shallow side. I'd rather have you make a couple of times cuts versus cutting this big gap and then figure out that you got way too much more room. Again, you're going to have to repeat the same process doing it on the passenger side, and then after that, it should be good to go.